Hi all, welcome back to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, my name is AspieAnswersAll. I'm all about basically talking about creating mental health awareness versus taking you all on a life journey with you all of my Asperger's syndrome, OCD and the like, as well as being a mental advocate for the voice of the voiceless that hasn't even, spoken out about their conditions, or just a light, a mentor guide, whatever you want to call me, basically, as support for you all, regardless of your everyday struggles, be it whatever it is, with everyday topics, basically to just give you some message of hope and hopefully some tips and advice of certain everyday topics that may come about in certain parts. So without further ado, guys, basically before I run out of time, as you know, I'm doing the ADHD, ADD and dyslexia series hopefully in the next few weeks. Maybe it could be, I don't know, 2-3 weeks hopefully tops, to try and get all this done if I can, with as much as I can of these topics that many people maybe really wish to actually look into and explore what I'm sharing. So do feel free to, like I said so many times before, use them as a educational resource tool, whatever it may be, for those particular reasons behind it. So this one's basically going to be about ADHD coping and managing skills, with the tips and advice from me to you, basically. So let's begin. As we know, from time to time we all tend to get so busy, wound up, caught up into so much stuff that's around us, be it relationship breakdown, or sometimes an environmental factor being like a traffic jam, regardless, or we end up winding ourselves up, so overwhelmed and anxious and everything else, along with these everyday stresses that comes with us in our way. We at least try to do the most we can in these everyday tasks that are important for us, be it, for example, business reports, a thesis that's due next week, and the like. We're always rushing around, beating the clock, as we know. Time is of the essence, time is of the enemy also sometimes for some of us, obviously. And I just feel that even though I may not have ADHD, well, from what I gather I don't, but I could have, I don't know. The way things are going after being misdiagnosed over time, who knows. I'll sure as hell will know if I do or not, but then again, I just feel that I don't have it, but I could be in denial, but hey, who knows about this. Anyway, excuse me, I'm just going to put my glasses on while I'm trying to read through my brief notes while I'm at it, sorry. Anyway, even though I may not have ADHD, however, as I said before, basically, I'm here today just to basically, take you on a journey on this, series that I'm doing right now. And also that basically, despite where I'm at in my life right now, I'm happy where I am, and it's a bit of a, like I said, a relief for me knowing what I've got and what I don't have is still maybe yet to come. But despite it all, it may be a challenge for me and many other people with everyday, mental health conditions or mental health disorders, whatever you want to put it as, that mentality. It's all about, basically, many of you, or all of you should agree, it's about having the right attitude, right support system into place, right, thinking patterns that will come a long way for us, obviously, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't have to do things alone when we are facing our now downtime to what's going on, regardless what it may be. We know that everyone is different, however, yes, and they have their own personal struggles, yes again, okay? Yet we don't need to do it alone. As I said, I'm here to try and be of advocate or support for you all, not here to judge or misread you or understand you, trying to understand you from where you're coming from. Even if I don't, I haven't been through it myself in my everyday life experiences, basically, hopefully in the long run, that somehow we will meet in the middle. It's all about being able to cope and deal with our everyday situations, regardless what it may be, as well as our mental health disorders, basically. Some treatments that is put into place, be it, certain medications that is prescribed to us versus just therapies like behavioural therapy and all the like, basically, may be able to help. But as I said many times before I begin this, you know, I am an everyday Joe blogs. I'm just, you know, trying to share you my life stories, experiences, training, you know, training purposes of what I've been doing and all of that. Basically, I'm doing the best what I can when I can and what I can to my everyday challenges that throws at me, regardless what it may be, you know. But as I said before, many times before, there's no cure for any mental health disorders. However, it's all about managing and treating it in the right way that's best well suited for us. However, as I said, I can't stress it enough though, with that in place though, it's how and what we do in our lives, also based on our everyday choices. Also, I can't stress this enough. This is our mentality, which is our thought processes, choices. Power of the mind is ever so strong. Also about our everyday choices, as I just said, will determine the outcome and will be leading us to a brighter future if we let it. By making the right choices for ourselves, not others. As we know, it takes time and patience to find the right combination of treatments, however, medications and therapies. I'm strongly aware that medication isn't always for everyone, basically, so bear with me. I have my own personal opinion based on what I'm going to share with you all, so please respect that. You know, it's all about respecting each other's differences of opinion, and hopefully we can meet in the middle of understanding. Okay, some of these tips and advice I'll be sharing with you today is what I've learned in dealing with AS and the like of everyday conditions, as well as ADHD, after researching and just hearing it from others though, however. Okay, some of the treatments, therapies, or some of the tips and advice that's going to be put into place into different sections here of what I'm doing here may work for me and may not work for you, and vice versa. Some of the tips and tricks may work for you versus not work for me, but it's all about creating balance. And also, if you feel that something doesn't fit, seek medical advice or seek an opinion from your doctor. If some of this doesn't make sense, or just seek professional help if you feel the need or have to when it arises. Okay, let's begin with this managing and coping skills. So the first part of this section is all about memory. Okay, some of this does, many of this will work for me. Okay, organization skills. Okay, is memory / organizational skills, shall we put it? Yeah, we'll put it as that. Anyway, enough blabbering. Yes, many of us do struggle with this type thing, organizational skills. Remembering certain events that comes up, like a meeting with the teacher, business mentor, or whoever, basically. Having problems with memory isn't more or less from people with ADHD. It can occur in anyone, however. We all go through this from time to time if we forget things, you know, be it whatever it may be. I'm actually relate that others were struggling with this too, so I wasn't the only one when, you know, with all this short-term memory forgetfulness, you know, leading to all this other, you know, mishaps that goes along with it sometimes. So I can tell you now, I can relate one way or another, and all the thoughts I had of me being lazy or not trying hard enough, or I'm trying hard enough to, you know, push harder in my abilities to get recognized by others through my accomplishments and achievements and whatnot. I've now overcome the memory of forgetfulness and put it into action and practice into what I did need for me. So in this everyday activities for this memory organizational skills, what is listed here is 1, list, 2, diary planning, or just, you know, recording things in my diary of meetings and appointments, as well as maybe on my cell phone. 3 is recording my voice. I know it may sound daunting, but recording my voice or just singing songs or whatever. And 4, rearranging things in my room and decluttering my room if need be. Okay, with the list though, I run by everyday list. Many people will know this because, you know, that's how I roll. Everyday list for me can be to-do list versus just list of agenda, or just anything in general that needs to be done, like a little activity sheet for me, mark it off as I go. Well, even though to-do list is about that, you know. So therefore basically all this that I'm sharing with you, I list everything. This will help ease my mind, declutter my mind of what I need to solely focus on that given moment of time with those lists in place. With the list of voice recordings versus, you know, diary planning, I can see and hear what's going on right in front of me as well. The brain will metaphorically just probably feel relieved that I'm decluttering my thoughts while I'm solely, you know, focusing on that task at hand, whatever it may be. And things may remain calm for a particular time when I am actually maybe absorbing my whole energy or input into one particular thing that is important to get done before anything else. Even if it's like, here's an example, like in the past I've been pushing myself to get my assignments out of the way. I usually try to put everything into practice by just being in a routine, actually just, well, not cram everything in one day, but make sure I'm on top of everything. As many people will know me now, basically, well, I usually am organised to the point where I carry my notes around and everything else. And like I've noticed in the past that while I was at Polytech, basically many of the students in my class, or shall we say classmates, basically wanted to borrow some of my notes or just found it really amazing that, you know, I was on top of everything and actually, you know, kept my notes clean and tidy with highlighters, and just every other bits and pieces of my, you know, notes were pretty much highlighted, short little diagrams, and that's for me to know about. Excuse me. I also sometimes, if I'm in a group, will try to tend to ask questions and actually get involved in that task activity, and also ask the people around me, basically, if there's anything that needs to be done by me, especially if it's a teamwork action thing. Let's chat, you name it, so that it can clearly show that I am actively, you know, in there as a participant or team player for them. So if there's a particular role I need to do in that group activity, be it whatever it may be, hopefully they can kindly write down the list of what they, you know, need from me at that particular time. That'd be so good. Okay, next things on the list is the medications, basically. Okay, this one is like number one, leaving stuff out. Okay, it may sound odd for some people about this, especially for people with ADHD. Sometimes some people may forget to take their medication, be it not just people with ADHD, however. Okay, obviously it's important for some of us to actually take medication so that our brain and body works together in harmony and functions properly and in sync with each other. Okay, another thing is about remembering if they did take. My advice is basically, like, I've noticed that many people may leave them out in a place where they can see them on the kitchen table or somewhere that's easily accessible as well for them, so they can see them. Like maybe also another one is, you know, if they have medications, maybe a pill bottle that's labelled AM PM, basically the days of the week. Also another maybe advice here is for this is maybe setting your alarms, be it your alarm on the bedside table, your cell phone, or what's another one that's got an alarm in it? Maybe your oven stove. Also maybe to a point that with that setting your alarm stage to remind you to take your meds. Also maybe have visual reminders. Maybe, I don't know, here's say somewhere in your bedroom or wherever you walk around, have little stickers somewhere in colour code, basically, you know, just something that maybe will work for you, colour coding or colour paper, saying that, you know, you've taken your meds or not, you know, maybe pink for taking meds, blue for you've already taken them, I don't know, something like that. And number two for that one is tell someone or talk to someone. If you have a goal you want to accomplish, tell someone about it. Anyone that you can trust, is they should be able to remind you, and also may ask you questions about your condition so that people may understand you and your condition of what it's all about. This goes for any condition, however. They should be then be able to accept you as the whole package, not just the label mentality of that condition. As everyone works differently, and working in a team is a good way to release any stress and tension sort of thing sometimes, depending on if you guys are ready to actually accept the differences regardless what it may be. Now, the next part of it is tips for completing tasks like your homework, your DIYs versus your, if you're doing some sort of renovation around. Number one is reward system. Give yourself a reward of any kind, be it big or small, okay? Do it for everything that you have accomplished, sort of thing, in a task, be it a small task or bigger task. Bigger rewards for biggest accomplishments you made, and smaller rewards for the ones that you've done the small accomplishments. I.e., for instance, of your reward system, checking your list all the time, or items on the list, small cookies, 5-minute dancing or singing, maybe to give you stuff as a reward system. For the bigger rewards, however, buying a perfume that you liked, or even technology device you've been, eyeing up for quite some time, a video game you want to play, or even a movie you want to see as a reward. Number two, timers on your phone, stovetop, whatever. Okay, this is all about timers. That measures time. Set a time you want to, aim for all the time, like an hour to study, and then give yourself at least a 10-15 minute break. But remember, in that 10-15 minute break, while you're winding yourself down, you need to be sure that you're doing this so that we can get back into the force of habit of getting back into that routine, whatever it may be. Also allows you to have time out for yourself for that 10-15 minutes, be it whatever it may be, something different for you to do besides your homework DIY, be it when you wind down a little bit on your YouTube, or listening to music, or TV, walking with your dog if you've got one, exercise. Also reward those kinds. Sometimes, as I said before, if you leave it longer for those 10-15 minute break periods, it can be hard to get into that routine again, and actually breaking into that force of habit to try and get into that routine, regardless what it may be. Sometimes also with that, if we don't have that habit of doing that into routine, we get the lack of motivation, effort and self-discipline. So we need to self-discipline ourselves as well as motivate ourselves, versus just having the effort to do so. I know it's not easy, but you can and will get in there, so hang in there in no time. It's just a matter of practice and getting into that routine. If it has to be repetitive of doing everyday things, then you should be able to get into this way of things. However, the school environment, okay, everyone's different and every school is different, with having their own policies, procedures and rules that are set into place in concrete that we need to follow and abide by. However, but with these tips are just basic, as it has worked for me in some schooling of my life, meaning it will work for you, and it's all about finding the best method that will suit you though, however, as well as the technique. So number one in this one is sitting in front of the class, or maybe in the centre front row. This is usually beneficial for you and the lecturer if you're needing a one-on-one time with them, and basically that you can engage and interact with that teacher as well as with your classmates, and you'll be able to focus more with less distractions around you usually. Number two, notes from classmates. This is an important skill to have, but bear in mind though to have your own notes on hand too, because it's important while we retain every information that we're learning. Compare notes and maybe bouncing off ideas from students is also important. Great when you get notes from your classmates, seeing the differences of opinion, differences of how they work things out, be it maybe a essay Like for example, you're doing a maths equation, you got stuck on it, but like my maths brain is really ugh at the moment, you know, with some parts. But then again, you know, read theirs and add extra part of notes on your behalf of what maybe you think differently or what not. There's not even a right or wrong answer. However, we bounce off ideas from each other when it comes down to sharing notes. You know, it's all about people's differences of opinion and experiences. Number 3, record your class sessions if need be. I find this really good for me because in the class environment, if the classroom setting is like too long for me to sit still long enough to pay attention in that, I'll just take a recording of the class, be it a little, you know, dictator phone or dictator tape, and actually just bring it with me and record my class session, so then I can revert back to it maybe after class if I've got time, and actually write down my notes from what I can gather of what they're saying, and imagine myself in a classroom setting again while I'm outside of class hours maybe, and just, you know, go about it that way. Number 4, proper documentation. Having the right information such as your worksheets, your course outline versus your diagrams, as well as your learning objectives to work with. You can have extra time for homework or assignment help, which is good also when it gives you. I find that basically 9 times out of 10 when you have proper documentation and all that, as well as just having that classroom spare room time of basically having that time out with your teacher, that one-on-one engagement interaction takes place. Another thing is advocating competent needs for others like you. Be sure to have the right tools and resources to help you to succeed, however. Basically is the last bit I want to include. And now I want to say this before I end this video though, okay, for the people that are with ADHD especially, because obviously this video is designed for you guys as well as for people that may be wanting to know more about the, you know, condition. Your ADHD or other condition is nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. Having ADHD, however, isn't your fault, nor is it anyone else's for that matter. Yes, your brain is wired differently and doesn't work the same way as the normal people, or entities as I usually call them. It doesn't make you any more or less of a person, however. You are human too. Nor does it make you stupid or incapable of achieving anything you dream of doing. You can do anything. You just got to believe it yourself. You have a hidden gift or talent, and until you know what it is, embrace everything about you. Love yourself. Find out how you're going to achieve everything you want to achieve. All this takes time, however, of self-exploring, self-knowing yourself, everything else. We're a work in progress and masterpiece. You're worth a lot more than people realize. People with ADHD and other conditions are one of the many people that has creative ideas. They are smart people on earth. Yes, we are different, you know, we are special. Your ADHD doesn't define you and who and what you are. You are the one who defines yourself, however. You're awesome. Learn about ADHD. Learn facts. Learn how ADHD works and affects you. Learn what best fits for you. Well, this ends basically the managing and coping skills of ADHD with tips and advice. If I miss any techniques or tricks, feel free to comment them below of what's worked for you and may work for others. Help your bros in the hood by leaving some comments below, which would be much appreciated. Also, just comment below also if you feel the need or have to. Also, give me the like or thumbs up for support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll basically, and also private message me on AspieAnswersAll versus direct messaging me on YouTube basically. Feel free to share my videos. Subscribe to my channel for hopefully daily, weekly vlogging. Don't fret if I'm not around, because at this point of time, as I shared before, I need to get you in the loop of what's going on, sort of thing. So, in all further ado, guys, thanks for your support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again.